Hey, good morning, everyone. It is about 6:15, and I'm here with Angat. Angat is a student in an IT program in Oklahoma. And Angat, you came originally from Nepal, is that right? Okay. You wanna say hi to everybody? There we go. And there might be some jokes about Oklahoma, but Angat's a good dude, and he asked me to do a tutorial this morning with him on some of the technologies I'm using. So I thought, well, why not do it as a recording? So Angat, I'm going to start. By the way, this is just my process, and I would like to start with learning starts with humility. So what I'm talking about now, I promise in a few days, weeks, or months, there's going to be better ways to do it. Okay. But I met some really nice people at the TechWell conference, AI convention here in Seattle. And my talk is about the bridge about, and this is basically the prompt in Perplexity Pro. And Perplexity Pro has changed a lot. If you haven't used it recently, you haven't really used it. So my customers are participating in the TechWell conference in Seattle. My talk is about the bridge from traditional AI to generative AI. My thought is that if we share a short history of AI from traditional to generative, give vocabulary of words that really matters, maybe the top 10 or 20 concepts like RAG, LLM, GPT, focus on the key concepts of how Gen AI works, different from regular, right? Like generated answers, the feature is the bug, the creation needs curation, that the field is moving at a speed that's exponential. And there are some key ways to curate your career content and culture. And that agentic operating is not a code snippet, but a new way to think and play globally. Also, why not welcome our friends from Nepal, Oklahoma, Slovenia, Texas, Paris, Karachi, other places that have some similarities with Seattle. So this is a cultural welcome that says, hey, maybe you like sporting events, water, sailing, fishing. Maybe you want to go do things around Seattle. Also, for the session, maybe we could do some icebreakers, favorite food, song, hero. Maybe create an app that welcomes diversity, culture, art, celebration as a way to show what generative AI can do. Add Spanish as a language for my friend here who's doing the podcast. Add a few features like a QR code for my LinkedIn profile. Make an offer to do a free hour of prototyping for anyone who's attending who has a really good nonprofit cause to support a more diverse workplace globally. And maybe create a prompt library for the most common prompts for people creating content for a person, role, task, or outcome. By the way, I don't know if I can give free consulting to everybody because this would be on my time on the weekends. But if it's a great idea, I met a woman who started Kids Who Code or Girls Who Code. So I then said to Perplexity, using the lab function, go work on this. And what it built, and I won't go through all the details because the video will take a while. It built an app for me. And the app looks like this, right? It says, welcome to everyone from the places we talked about, explore AI, connect with Bob. Do you want a free hour of prototyping to support a good cause? By the way, I work with the Rotary organization a bunch, and my local Rotary co-sponsors a lot of these things that I get to work on. So thank you, Rotary. This then gives a history of the major things that happened in artificial intelligence. By the way, really in AI, as we think about ML and sort of other pattern recognition, exponential speed of change. A very interesting, and again, I did some prompts to get this final prompt, but then some notions about how prompting, how AI works, things that we need to pay attention to. It also talks about what things in Nepal and Oklahoma and Slovenia are similar to things that you can do in Seattle, like go to the Ballard Locks, go sailing at Shell Bay. So trying to be appropriate to the diverse culture of my friends that I've met here, how can we do some fun things together that would relate to what they might want to do? Here's some celebration icebreakers. Maybe share your answer here. And by the way, we could do that as a quiz or some other things. And then I created a prompt library of, you are a person with certain expertise. And these are very basic prompts that if people don't know how to prompt in, you have to take a point of view, ask for something, ask for an outcome, and be as specific as possible. And then finally, I said, if you want to visit my LinkedIn profile, here it is. If you have a good cause that supports global workplace diversity, because I think some people think that America doesn't welcome diversity. We do. It is what makes us amazing. And I'm surprised that our current administration hasn't learned that lesson. But some people are a little slower than others. So that is the thing that I did in Perplexity. And then what I said in Perplexity is in the lab function here, I said, can you go ahead and share, right? And I think I did it here. I said, you can share this space with anyone who wants to view it. When I do that, though, it does become public to everyone. I wasn't sure I wanted to share it with everyone. And also, when I'm working in the lab function, as it creates this document, it's a pretty interesting document, right? And it gives me the background. This gives me a lot of other detail. It even created kind of not a great generative AI picture. It's kind of an okay picture. I do love the fact that it's diverse and it shows Seattle. It's not a great, not great art, but it's probably better than I could do. So when I'm done with that, I can export it in a bunch of ways. I can export it as a PDF, and I already did this, but I want to show what I'm doing here. Um, I can also export it as the entire asset, as a perplexity page, as a document, or as a markdown. Markdown is very important if you're using it for code because then other things can read it. So then I said over in um, over in Claude, I did something that you probably have never done. I said, take a look at this URL, and I said, I like the app, but it is missing some sensible engineering. So can you rewrite it, rethink it so that it meets end-to-end best practices in user stories, MVPs, CI/CD, UX, UA, localization, scale, atomic construction, serverless, stateless, test coverage for Happy Path and Chaos Monkey, deep thinking around, by the way, the word deep thinking really matters with Claude, around a well-architected framework. I love the AWS well-architected framework. Automation is used. So essentially, rewrite this whole thing in a way that a software developer would write it and document it at a third grade reading level because many of my friends speak many languages. I just speak one, not very well. And then put all of this in my GitHub repo. Okay. So it did that. Now it says I can't actually do the actual app that you wanted, but what I can do is I can build a smart engagement platform, right? And so I said also create it in an agentic way. And it said, well, I'm going to create Tenzing, a very famous name from Nepal, Milani, a very famous name from Slovenia, Claude, and I'm going to create them as agents, okay? Because we're talking about agents as our next thing. It gives me a project plan. I said, that's cool. Let me go ahead and have you take this document. I'm just going to copy that document and go create a presentation in Gamma, which is the smart customer engagement platform. By the way, I didn't ask it to be more specific because I wanted it to hallucinate or be creative. Remember, the feature is the bug. The feature is the bug means that because it didn't know exactly what I wanted, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted, it actually said, let's actually create a customer engagement platform. It misunderstood what I was doing here, but it actually built a really cool idea. Join some games, share some photos, to talk to businesses, have some different agents that can be your guides depending on the language you speak and what you're interested in. It tells me how I would build it. It talks about technical architecture. I love the fact that it got a lot of, it has some memory, so it knows a lot about my technical architecture thinking, right? Suggested localization and scale strategy and test strategy and well architected and detailed agent roles. This is very cool. It talked about the things that I care about, and it also used the Devon.ai approach to agents. So this is very cool. And I was like, well, that's so cool that I want Bolt to go actually take a look at building the application. So I took the prompt from Claude and I gave it to Bolt and I said, write this app for me. And I literally, by the way, what I said in Bolt was up here at the very top, create this app, right? I didn't say anything else because I wanted it to be ambiguous and I wanted to see what it would do. And so it said, well, you have a dashboard, you've got some customers, you have some things to do for the customers, you've got some analytics about the customers. By the way, that's not really what I was looking for, but it's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and take it because it didn't take me any time to write it. And then I said over to um, Devin, Devin, can you show people how agents work? And this is something that I was playing with for my some of the friends that I work with in the automotive industry, and I built a workflow that talks about how agents hand off work between each other. Okay, we'll come back to that in a few minutes. By the way, I also said to V0, which is another thing that I use, and again in V0, I want to go try this demo. I think I put it up, put it here in V0. I said try the demo. It gave me a different demo, right? It gave me some other ideas. It gave me some other code. I'm gonna go ahead and visit that site, and I can try the demo that says, Frida. So welcome to Smart Engage. When someone joins your community, Sarah does onboarding. Tenzing provides customer support. Then Sarah posts some things about the experience. Frida creates some engaging content, um, and so forth. So this is talking about what each of the agents might do. Um, and I then thought, it'd probably be a really cool thing to show people a good place to go. AI Agent Toolkit.xyz is kind of an interesting place that has a bunch of different agent definitions, tools. If you want to learn about this, again, it's Agent Toolkit.xyz. Um, I, if I wanted to, I could have posted to my fly.io my application. So I could have taken it out of Replit or some other place and actually put it from GitHub there. By the way, I would be remiss without mentioning Matt Wolf. Wolf with an E has something called Future Tools. And if you like to find out what Matt thinks about things and you want to do something like video editing, you can find out the tools that he's using. I love Matt, watch him every week along with a few others like Lenny's podcast. But I also thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Because Ken Johnston and I spend a bunch of time talking about AI for humans. We think, by the way, humans are great. We're for humans. We think AI is great. We'd like to make sure that the intersection of those two things is good. So I was thinking to myself, why don't we have a website called AI for Humans? And I built it with a thing called Mixio. And the way I built it with Mixio is I literally just went in and put in a prompt that said, build me a site about AI for humans, share some information about empowering people with kindness and safety and intelligence and delight and be better, be a better humans, right? It's a little bit of a long video. Don't usually do one that long, but I wanted a chance to kind of have you look at the workflow. We're going to go ahead and publish this, and I'm going to probably do another video where we answer a bunch of questions that I probably didn't answer in this video. And I hope it was useful. Thanks, everybody.